Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. Welcome. If you're new here, my name is Courtney. I'm a stay-at-home mom, wife, and author. So I'm an author. I feel like somewhere I may have actually lost the plot. Why do I say that, you ask? It's time for a little confessional. Personal rings is my ride or die. We all know that. But now she has an emotional support planner, pocket rings. Yeah. And my pocket rings has her own emotional support planner, another personal rings. And then the manager of all of the things is an A5 rings. So, yeah, that's 4 ring planners. And somewhere along the line, I have decided that anything I can do in a bound book, I can do in a ring planner, and probably a little bit better, at least for me. So I'm going to flip the camera around and we're going to chat about it. Okay, here we are. You know, my main planner is my personal rings. I love having a personal ring planner for like my everyday. This is the planner where all of the plans go, the dates, the goals, all of the life is in this planner. Last year, I dipped my toe back into bound books, and I really do love them. I think that I have only really done like memory keeping in a bound book, my journaling up until last year. Any journaling I did was in a bound book, and it really is nice to just have them like lined up on your shelf and you can kind of pull one out and there's your year, there's your memories, there's everything that you thought about, stuff that happened, all of that, right? But I just think for where I am right now in my life, I'm just really enjoying rings, and I'm not going to force myself to use something that isn't bringing me joy or that I'm really only using out of like circumstances, like I want to, or I'm sort of compelled to use a bound book because it's easier to store those, right? But you know what? Archiving and storing, that is a problem for future Courtney. I'm not really worrying about it right now as I sort of dive into everything. So this is my main planner. She's not going anywhere. And then I think I did a plan with me a couple of weeks ago where I like planned my whole week out and I showed you my A5. I moved my like content and sort of book business planning from my B6 Faded Chronicle into an A5 ring planner, which I had already been using this like vinyl one, which is super adorable, for like my goal planning. So it's not like I didn't have an A5 ring in my lineup, so to speak, but I have moved all of that, my goal planning plus my like book business and content planning, into my A5 Filofax. I was kind of wanting to wait to film this because I don't have like all of them all set up the way that I want them to be. Right now they're pretty basic and pretty functional, but I don't want to rush like the setting up in terms of the decorative elements. Mainly I need these things to be functional for me, and they are, but I am also a person who like the aesthetics and the looks of things are very important to me, and so I need something to compel me to want to open it up every day, if I'm being honest. So everything's not set up. It's basically functional at this point. It's a work in progress, but it's fine. So I have my monthly month-on 2-page inserts. The inserts that I'm using in here are from Squared Plans, and I will have like everything in all of the setups, all of the inserts, all of that linked in the description box down below if you're interested in anything. So I have my month-on 2 pages that I am using for my, my idea is to use this for my like writing schedule and deadlines and whatnot. I have not plugged all of that stuff in for Q2 yet. And then I have my kind of walkthrough of my goals and setting up my goals and kind of what I wanted to focus on for the year. I used this goal maker insert from Paper Test Design, or Designs, I guess, to help me kind of figure out my game plan for the year, and that's all at the front. And then I have the dashboard inserts from Squared Plans. Let me see if I can turn to a blank month. So you get a monthly calendar, and this is where I am planning out my content for everything. And then it goes into your weekly kind of dashboard. And this, I'm really enjoying using this as kind of a master to-do list. I have a place to put my analytics every week. I have a place to make notes every week. I can write down what is happening on each day in terms of like content and social media. So you get the whole month, and then at the end you get a space to make notes and whatnot. And then I also bought the monthly, I forget what these are called, monthly, it might just be like monthly, I'm not sure. Like I said, it will be linked down below. And I am using this for my goal setting, which I think I did in a video that I will link. But so the goal setting pages end up looking something like this, with my main priorities, my goals in each area of my life, and then kind of a big task list for certain like projects, and then a space for my monthly analytics, any notes if I have them. So I'm really enjoying how this is set up. And then in the back I have space for project planning. I have some inserts for that in here. Not sure where I got these from though. And they look like this. You have notes, a to-do list, a project tracker, project overview. So I have a couple of, I have a list of a couple of projects that I need to kind of map out. And then I have a section just for like information and notes. So like my branding board, like the color codes that I'm using, the fonts that I'm using, all of that is sort of in this section. And I just have like notes paper in here so that I can make notes. And then this is kind of my book section. So I have my HB90 like task block sheets in here that I use for my time blocking throughout the week. And then I also have when I am planning out a book, I just kind of do like a big brain dump in a Word document. And so I have those like printed out and punched in here so that when I'm like starting to move on to actually like outlining the book, I have some idea of what I was thinking for characters, plot, all of that stuff. And then I just have an acetate with an extra pen loop on it because Filofax and their pen loops are not the best. And then I have just some pages from the other A5 that I need to transfer that information in here. And I just haven't had the time to get it all added. So that is my A5. And these are the two new additions. So let's start with this one. I started the year convinced that I wanted to do my memory keeping in a traveler's notebook. The 1 year that I successfully did memory keeping for the entire year, start to finish, I did it in a standard size notebook. And I really love the way that that year turned out. So I have this Moterm cover. I set it up. This cover is absolutely gorgeous. I love it. It feels so good. And I was going to use these Travelers Company inserts, very similar to the Hobonichi Weeks. And I do have like a few spreads in here. And that is really all that I have done. I had this set up as like a commonplace, and then this was going to be sort of my long form journaling if I wanted to do it. In my defense, you can see I have a ton of pictures that I printed out to add to the weeks, and I just have not felt compelled to be in here. So, and I don't even know why, I just was not feeling it. So what I ended up doing was deciding to move journaling and memory keeping into a personal size rings. This is a Moterm pebbled. This is like an older version of it. The leather is so floppy and I forgot how much I enjoy it. And I don't know, the color is just like black or something. Well, I mean, it's black, but I don't know if it has a specific name. So, and I have not finished setting this up either. This was in a Franklin Covey setup that I had, and I cut it down a little bit. It's still a little wide, but I'm fine with that, I think. And so what I ended up doing was using my old like Filofax inserts from last year and kind of doing just like a little micro journaling about the specific day, even though I have to redate them. It's fine. So I have these where I'm doing a little bit of micro journaling, and I am just going to do my memory keeping in here. I think that I'm not sure. So these are last year's inserts, which I have been redating, and it's not that big of a deal. I don't mind doing it. But I also bought this printable from, I think, the List Lab. So I can't decide, well, and I don't really have to. That's the good thing about printables, is that I could use this just as I've been using these as sort of just micro journaling about what happened that day. And then you also get a monthly view, and I was thinking about doing like a sticker a day or something up here, because I did love when I did that in my B6thology in my monthly overview. But I can't decide if I want to print another one and do like memory keeping on a weekly basis, or if I just want to, and I may experiment with both of them, if I just kind of want to draw out like a week on one page and then kind of have this set up like a Hobonichi Weeks, and sort of add little bits about the week like I do in my, and to add sort of little bits about the week like I did in this insert, where it's just kind of memory keeping, a little bit memory keeping. I could add photos if I wanted to, things that we did, little events that happened, stuff like that. So I could draw out a weekly for that, or I could print another one of these out and do it on that. And then when there are things that happen that I want to do more memory keeping about, I can just do it on a single piece of paper. I can tip stuff in, which I don't love doing in a bound book, because it's either I don't want it to get too chunky, or I hate writing on surfaces. Like, I really have been enjoying doing like paper collaging and kind of scrapbooky like things. And I don't like to do that in a bound book. But I can do it in here, and I can take it out and do it if I want to write entries on different pages. I can take those pages out and do it and add them back in. I can tip things in, like my son brought home, and this isn't the full size, but it was like an 11 by whatever, painting that he did in art class, and I loved it so much. So I just made a copy of it, like a smaller copy, and punched it in here. And I want to have him like sign the back of it and write a little bit about like how he did it and why, like, this is the thing he chose to do. He also, they're doing like a poetry study in class, and so he had this beautiful, and I am like terrible at poetry, but he wrote this beautiful poem and brought it home. And so like his teacher had typed them up for all of the students. I think she's like putting them in a book. But I just made a copy of it and I punched it in here, and I love it so much. So yeah, I can add things as a one-off. I can draw in a weekly or use a weekly if I want to do that. And then the other thing that I did was I bought B6 and had it cut down at Office Depot. I do like this time that the girl that cut it down for me asked me if I wanted like the top and the bottom cut off, if she wanted me to, because you know they have like the days of the week and like a blank space up here, and then I think there's writing down here. I can't remember, but anyway, she cut it off so that it is just essentially like usable grid page. And then she also included like the cover. So this is like a little, it's just a cut down stology. This is the whole book. So I can use this as journaling. I can use this as common placing. I have been journaling in my like regular planner that I'm in every day. And what I like is that I have been doing like journaling prompts, but I can also do sort of long form journaling or journaling just about stuff that I want to get out of my head. And I can include it in here. But the reason that I have a hard time doing that in a book bound journal is that I don't necessarily want to like save all of those things. I mean, sometimes I'm just like venting to vent. And I might just want to get it out of my head. So I kind of vomit it all over a page. And if it's not something that I want to keep, then I can just rip it up and put it in the recycling. But if I want to do journaling prompts, but then, you know, this in the same day, I write 2 or 3 just like journaling pages about whatever, I can pull those out, put them in here and have them in any kind of order. I can also do commonplacing in here if I choose to, even though I have like a commonplace notebook. I do also like the fact that this is smaller. I'm commonplacing in an A5. So if I just want to take this out and tip it into my A5, I can do that as well. So I'm kind of super excited to experiment with having journaling and memory keeping in a rings planner. And we'll kind of see how that goes. Another thing that I set up is a pocket rings. I was highly influenced by Elena at Boldly Inked, and her pocket setup is so cute and has been calling my name. Do I need a pocket ring setup? I do not. But I have a pocket rings planner, so why not set it up? And I think originally I was just going to set it up as like a mini version of my personal ring when it's sort of a less busy time in my life. I can just kind of grab this and go. And I can still do that, but I have it set up slightly different from my personal rings. It's like a mix of my personal rings and my A5 rings. So I have a yearly overview in here. I have these little dividers and some deco, which is super cute. I am using the monthly freebie from Sleepy Notes Club, and I am enjoying them. I love the way they look. You know, I have to have if I could only have one planner, it would be a monthly, because that's just how I plan everything else. So I have to have a monthly in every book, no matter what. So I have these in here, been using them. I have my inbox set up just with some dot grid paper. a few sticky notes that I can use if I want to. I have this divider just if I want to tuck something in here. I have some more sticky notes. Once again, loving like the paper crafting collage situation. And then I have the monthly freebie. God, my brain. From Sleepy Notes Club in here as well. I tipped in just a list of stuff that I want to watch. And then I have these week on 2-page horizontal from Planned and Productive, I think the shop is called. So yeah, love using these. They're just functional. So I did do a little bit of back planning for February. So I have those in here. Put in these photos of my parents. I've just really been missing them a lot lately. If you're new here, my mom passed away in January of 2020, and my dad passed away in May of 2023. And I don't know, I'm really missing them right now. And it's funny. I was looking for pictures of the two of them like together. So this is a picture of my parents from my wedding in May of 2010. And then this is a picture of my parents from my first wedding in June of 1992. So I did not mean to have both weddings represented, but yeah, they're just really good pictures. And then I printed this digital paper that I got from Etsy and just made this little folder. So this is where I have all of like my health tracking and mental health tracking. I also have my spending log and order tracker all kind of in this little section. Then I just have more kind of cute stuff stuffed in here. This little doily, I don't know where I got this from. Michael's, maybe I got a pack from Michael's. I don't know. This is really old cardstock from a Project Life cards that I had. I added some ribbon, and then I am using these that I bought, these undated inserts that I bought on Amazon for my content calendar. So I do have my content out of my A5 in here if there's something that I want to work on while I have this planner or I'm out and about. It's here. Then I just have some grid paper for notes on like any video ideas, blog ideas, that kind of stuff. This little tag, I just added a ribbon and punched it in. You can see this has the smaller rings. This is not the Elite. Oh, by the way, this is a Moterm pocket. It's just regular in apricot, so it has smaller rings. And then this is my project planning section. So I laminated just some blank paper and added these tabs. So I have 4 tabs in here. I am going to use these inserts from Kina Prints. I also have them in my personal rings as my like weekly action steps. But I think that what I'm going to do is like use grid paper for just like project notes and project overviews, and then sort of use this for like each, for breaking the project down. So I'm trying to think of like what I am currently planning or something that I could be planning. Like we're doing some garden planning, so I need to like research what grows in our zone the best. So I want to have like flowers and plants, and then like vegetables, and then maybe like list everything out, and then on a separate, and you know, then I could have like what things need to be seeded before we can move them outside, like that sort of thing, so that I can kind of break down the steps of the project. So I have those in here, and then I just have like some of these lined pages from Moterm, some blank pages as well. This little photo envelope, it just has like paper and ephemera in it now. This is kind of my listing section and notes section. So I have some list printouts. I think these are from Peanuts Planner Co. And then I just have like Filofax grid paper, lined paper, all of that in here. A place for contacts and passwords. That's it. And then this is in the back. I have a picture of my son and then our first grandchild. So I'm trying to think. He was, I think, 4 in this picture. He was like 3 when she was born. So yeah, he became an uncle at 3. Then I have my, in case of emergency, if lost found, some of my author business cards, and just like a little cuteness back here. So I'm okay with it duplicating information, and that it has information sort of from all of the things in this one little place. And as I use it, I'm sure that the inserts I use and the way that I use it will develop, because that's how it goes for every planner system. But for right now, I'm super happy with the way that it looks. So here is the stack currently, and I'm like super happy with it. So yeah, I'm all in on the ring situation of it all. So if you made it through this video, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Let me know in the comments, like, if you've considered ring planning, if you already do anything specifically like memory keeping in ring planning or journaling. Comment down below and let me know how it's going for you. Or is this a completely ridiculous idea? I don't know. But yeah, if you like this video, be sure to click subscribe, turn on your notifications, do all of the YouTube things, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.